folks, David Stewart here. It's time to talk a little bit more about music theory. Today we're going to tackle the circle of fifths and everything that goes along with the circle of fifths. In the previous video I talked about the order of sharps and flats, what a key signature was, and how you can take what a key signature has on it and figure out what key it's in, as well as how to start with a name of a key and figure out how many sharps or flats in it. And we can do this because all the sharps and flats always go in the same order. And they go in the same order for a very important reason, and that's because it orders the keys basically in terms of their relationships. And when we look at a circle of fifths, what we see is a bunch of keys and how close or how distantly related one key is to the next. All of this is based on that 3-2 ratio that I talked about in an early video, talking about all the ratios of all the harmonic series and things like that. The relationship of 3-2, one pitch being having a 3-2 ratio with the pitch below it, is what's called an interval of a fifth. And that is the closest that you can get with having a different pitch class, having a different actual note name. Because if you go to 2-1, it's just an octave. 2-1 is 2-1 of A would be A and another A. E to A is a 3-2 ratio though. So if we go E to A, that's a 3-2 ratio between those two notes. That's the closest that you can get in terms of their mathematical relationship. And that's the way we actually organize the keys on the circle of fifths. And of course, it's a circle because as you go around it, you end up coming back at the beginning. If we continue adding these relationships, eventually we get all the way back to the original key. Now, circle of fifths looks a lot like a clock. So a clock, I think, is a really, really great way to think about this. There's 12 keys and there's 12 numbers on a clock, so we tend to arrange them a lot like a clock. So we'll tend to have, we'll have one at the bottom and one at the top. And we'll have, positions at 3 and then 2 positions in between each one of those. The key at the top is always C, all right? C has no sharps and no flats. That's what I've done a lot of the explanation for introductory chords and things for, is the key of C. All the way down here at the bottom, we have F sharp. In this 3 o'clock position, we actually have A. So let me just draw an A there. And in this 9 o'clock position, you actually end up with E flat, okay? And this is how we'll end up doing this. Now, you can easily figure out the order of these 2 different ways. One way is by counting to 5. So 5 notes away from whatever previous key you have, an exact perfect fifth, you're always going to get the next one. On a guitar, if you go from one note, go up to the next string, and then go up 2 frets, you're always going to get a fifth. And as you move clockwise, you're going up a fifth. You're going up to that 3-2 ratio. As you go counterclockwise, you're going down a fifth, you're going 2-3. You're going the opposite direction. You're going to one right below it, a fourth below it. So this could also be the circle of fourths. If you go counterclockwise, you could look at it that way. And indeed, sometimes it's cool to look at it that way because most of the time we actually resolve backwards. We don't resolve forwards. But as we're leaving C, as we're going away to the next related key, we're going to go up. So C to G, you can just count C, D, E, F, G. 5 notes, C, or G. So we have G up there, okay? C, G. Count 5 more notes up from G, you get D. Count 5 notes up from A, you get, or D, you get A. Count 5 notes up from A, you get E. Count 5 notes up from E, you get B. Okay. F sharp is a special example because if you count 5 notes up from B, you'll get F. But if you look at the keyboard, or if we actually look at the guitar, 5 notes up from B is not F, but F sharp. Here's F. That would be a tritone. You actually want that relationship, 5 notes up. So it becomes F sharp. 5 notes up from F sharp is C sharp, not C. Not 3rd fret C, but 4th fret C sharp. So we end up with all of the, what we call sharp keys. At this point, if we go up 5 notes from C sharp, we're going to get, we're basically going to get G sharp. The problem with G sharp is that there is no key of G sharp because that would be 8 sharps. As we've done this, what we've been doing is we've been actually adding sharps as we go. So the sharps all go this way. Sharps go that way. So G has 1 sharp. This one has 0 sharps. 1 sharp. D has 2. A has 3. E has 4. B has 5. F sharp has 6. C sharp has 7. So indeed, at the 6 o'clock position, you get 6 sharps, which is helpful. Now, if you go back to this F, C, G, D, A, E, B, Fresno City garbage dumps, always eat bananas, or fat chicks get dates after 8 beers, you're going to see this here, C, G, D, A. Oh, it's the same, A, E, B, F, C. So you can kind of see there. If you kept going F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, on down the line to D sharp. There's no key of G sharp or D sharp though, because once we get to 7, we're out of notes to sharp. All the notes are sharp. We can't add any more. We'd have to add an 8th sharp, which would be a double sharp, which would be very cumbersome to read and annoying to read. So we skip that and we go to flats, because now we can have less flats to express the same tonality. And so as we go on the other side, we go backwards through this little particular thing. We go down a 5th, and down a 5th on guitar is really easy to find. You just go down to the next string. So going down from a C to an F, you just do it backwards. Or you can go up a 4th, same thing. You just go any note on the next string, same fret, that's going to be a 4th away, going backwards, okay? So F is a 5th down. That has, of course, flats. Now if I do the flat, I'll do the flats in red as we go. We can also actually go back into our Fresno City Garbage Dumps thing. Fresno City, this is kind of cool, garbage dumps. Now we actually are going to express these as flats. G flat and D flat. G flat and F sharp are the same. No, they're what are called enharmonic equivalents. You go to G, you make it flat by going down a fret, you're at F sharp. You go to C sharp, you go to C, you go bring it up a fret, you're going to go C sharp. If you go to D, you go down a fret, you're going to go D flat. So you can have G flat or F sharp, same note. It's the same exact note, it's that same black key on the piano, at least when we're operating in our 12-note equal tempered tuning. If you go to 1910 or something like that, then they're not the same. But for this, they are the same. So G flat, D flat, F, C, G, D. We can actually do A flat here, like that. Always eat bananas, B flat, okay? So you end up with basically the same arrangement of keys here. Fresno City Garbage Dumps always eat bananas. Fresno City Garbage Dumps always eat bananas. And the other side of it is flats, and we can just do those in red. The flats go that way, counterclockwise. F has 1 flat, B flat has 2, E flat has 3, A flat has 4. Over here we have 4 sharps, that's where they line up. D flat has 5, G flat has 6. Then of course we can redo B as C flat. We actually can respell it as C flat. Even though that's the same note as B, it's a white key on the piano. It would be 7 flats, okay? So that's 7 flats. So this is your circle of fifths, and what you can use this for as a composer is that this is a chart of how each key relates to another key. So G and F are very close to C. G, if we ascend a 5th, we go over to G, and we can ascend another 5th to D. If we resolve and go down a 5th, we go back towards C. And as you progress through this, you're getting further and further away from C or whatever note or whatever a key you happen to start in. So if you happen to start in the key of E flat and you wanted to move away from E flat, you would go up to B flat and F to move away and add some tension, and then you could come back down back to E flat to resolve some of that tension. This is a really frequently used thing that composers will do, is they'll have one phrase in C and then the next phrase will be in G and then it'll go back to C. Or they'll temporarily go to G major for like a couple of measures to kind of heighten that movement and heighten that G area so that you can resolve down that 5th. If you think about our cadences, our most common cadence is, you know, the old 5-1. The old 5-1 is really good. Now, if you could do that 5-1 in a whole key, it's even more effective. So this is the way most people move between keys. We haven't talked about minor keys. We're going to talk about that next time. But the way that most people go through keys is they go through it in 5ths and 4ths, away and back. And of course, if you want to have a really stark change, you can just have a key change from like C to F sharp to a completely unrelated key and really throw people for a loop. That's always a possibility that you could do. But it's good to know where the relationships are before you start doing all of that wackiness. Now, for you guitar players, there's a really easy way that you can actually think about this. Now, piano players, you can just go down the keyboard in 5ths, and I might do another supplement of this to show it on the keyboard for keyboard players. But for guitar players, you can cycle all the way through the circle of 5ths with 2 chords, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. So you start with this chord shape, and I'm playing it on the 10th fret for D7. This is a bar chord, and I believe I have a video on bar chords up. third finger on the 12th fret of the 5th string, second finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, or if we think of them in terms of the bar, 5th string, 2 frets up, 3rd string, 1 fret up. You have a dominant 7th chord, D7. We're going to resolve backwards from D7 to G. The whole point is to go backwards and forths and continue this resolution going. So all we do is keep the bar where it is and make this chord right here. 3rd finger, 2 frets up from the bar on 4th string. 4th finger, 2 frets up from the bar on the 2nd string. And because that's a dominant 7th, that one wants to resolve now. All we do is go 2 frets down and repeat the same 2 chords. 2 frets down, repeat the same chords. 2 frets down, repeat the same chords. 2 frets down, all the way down to open. And we can end back on D. So what that would end up sounding like, I'll name the chords D7, G. I'm going around this in the circle of fifths. Maybe I'll get over here and you can see them really good. E, G, C, F, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, F sharp, B, E7, A, and back to D. Once we get to A, we can go back to D. So we went all the way around all 12. Bach used to do this sort of stuff. He used to write stuff in all 12 keys. He had also, within one key, would have a bass line that was constantly going down a fifth, constantly resolving a fifth through all the different chords, all the way back to that beautiful tonic chord. This is the way most people tend to think of keys. They think of this wonderful circle of fifths. I think it's very, very helpful to think of the circle of fifths as well, because we can see all the relationships, how far away they are, how close they are, and also sort of plot our movements. And it puts this order of sharps and flats into context, because we're adding sharps and flats in fifths, and we're changing keys in fifths as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see and what you want to hear in the future. You can find me at davidvstewart.com and at dbspress.com. I'm always thankful. Leave me your comments down below, and you guys have a great day.